Hey, everybody, this is Robin from Roaming with Rover, and this is Finish It Friday. So, it's been a few weeks since we've done a Finish It Friday. I've been gone, I've been traveling, I'm back, and then we had craft fairs and, all the things. So, you guys know I've been busy. I've been doing a lot of things, and I did updates on a lot of stuff. So, we have done, let's see. We did updates for you on all the things I did while I was on the cruise. So I got a lot of that stuff done. Well, not a lot. I got half of that stuff done, which for me, that's pretty darn good because I have a tendency to always think I can get more done than what I can really get done, right? So I got 3 of those 6 things done. So those other 3 dones are on my list to get done. They're on my list to get done. And then there was craft fair, and then there's craft fair. That takes up so much of my time. I will be very, very glad. I have two more craft fairs, and let's look real quick. I just made a list of what I'm gonna make for the next craft fair. I'm gonna make a pickle, a frog, 2 hats, and 1 small chicken, maybe a turtle, and I'm gonna add some doodads to a couple of things that are already made. Any chance that's all gonna get done? I've started 1 hat, and I have brought with me today the yarn to make a pickle. We'll see. We will see. And my grand wants some keychains. Apparently the kiddos trade keychains for their backpacks at school, and he's been asking me since school started to send him some keychains, and I promised him some keychains. So that's got to get done. And it won't take long. And the grands, they need to be at the top of the list. When they ask for something, it needs to go to the top of the list. But I did tell him it would have to be after craft fair. So that's got, in fact, I need to write that down. Oh, I did, I wrote that down. Okay, so that's got to get done. But here's the other thing that is going on. Christmas is a-coming. She's a-coming. And you guys know I've been working on that Christmas blanket. I don't want to lose my hook. Did I set it down? What did I do with the hook? Oh, there it is. Okay, so I'm not going to drop the hook. So, the Christmas blanket. The Christmas blanket. All right, I went back and looked, and the last time we talked, this is where I was. In fact, I have it marked. I didn't realize that when I had it, the mark, that's where it was. Where is it? I had it marked. I know what row it is. I know it's this row right here. It's this row right here. It's this row right here. This is where I was. I was right here. I was working on this row the last time we talked. And see what I do? I put that little doohickey on there. That tells me what size hook. It tells me what size hook I'm using. Because I don't keep my hook with this blanket. Because it is one of these hair hooks and my clover, and I use this for all kinds of stuff, so I don't keep my hook with the blanket. For one thing, I'm afraid I'm going to lose it, so I mark on my project what size hook it is. Now this is a Christmas present, but it's not a December 25th Christmas present. It's an earlier in the month Christmas present. I don't know that we've even decided. If I had to guess off the top of my head, I'll bet you it's going to be December 9th I have to have this done by. And each one of these is a different pattern. As you can see, it's a sampler blanket. This is this is an Annie's sampler kit. It's called the Annie's Striped Crochet Kit, and you join, and every month or whatever length of time. Because now, when I joined, it was every month, and now they've changed it so you can get every 2 weeks, or you can spread it out, whatever you want. But each segment, you get 3 stripes. And so you get the yarn and the pattern for 3 stripes at a time. 3 stripes at a time. And there's a total of 30 stripes. Okay? So, for 30 stripes worth of crochet, I'm working on this thing. Got to get this thing done for Christmas. I didn't think I was going to get it. I really did not think I was going to get it done. And all of a sudden, I'm getting towards the end of this thing. Now, the last time I showed it to you guys, somebody pointed out to me that it looks like my sides are going like this. And they are. They absolutely are. And what's annoying to me is I count every single row to make sure my count is correct. And it looks like this. And it's getting worse. The top, it looks like it's going like this on this thing. I noticed it this morning when I was looking at it. I'm like, good Lord, that thing is so narrow at the top. I don't know what's going on. This is the worst. This is one of the worst projects I've ever done. I am not happy with this thing. Look at that. It is just getting narrower and narrower and narrower. I don't know what's going on. No, that's the right size hook. All of a sudden I got to thinking, did I grab the wrong size hook for these last rows? No, that's what I wrote down, because I wrote it down on the pattern. That would make me so upset if I did that. J-K, H-I-J-K. I didn't... I don't think I did. I don't think I did. I'm gonna cry if that's what I did, and that's why it's getting smaller. No, it's right. It's right. It's right. Don't do that to me. My heart just about stopped. But anyway, because those stitches look the same size, don't they? Yeah, those stitches look the same size. Anyway, I'm not loving this. I'm not loving the pattern. I'm not loving, the design is fine. The design is fine. It's just, I really almost think it's a different size hook. I wonder if I'm supposed to have a K instead of a J. I'm gonna have to play with that. If that's what it is and my last 10 rows are a different size hook, there's no way I can give this to her as a present. Anyway, let's see where we're at on this thing. I am not loving this. I'm not loving this pattern. Okay. Okay. Kathy, if that's what it is. All right. So this is where we were last time we spoke. This is where I was. And this was a really interesting, it puts me in the mind of, what is that crochet I don't like? Where you pick it all up and you take it all off. Pick it all up, take it all off. Tunisian. Puts me in the mind of Tunisian. It's not as boring, but you worked it this way. You picked it all up, took it all off, and then you built on it like that from here to there. So it was different, but it sure has the same look. Sure has the same look as the Tunisian. It really does. Can you see that up close? Yeah, it really has the same look as Tunisian. And then the next one was fine. It was easy peasy to do. There was no problem with that one. The next one I loved. Look at that little pointy thing. So you had to be super careful about getting your stitches right on that. They had to be very, very in the right spot. And at first I didn't have them in the right spot. So I put my green on, and then when I went to do the next row, they were off by 1, and I could tell they were off by 1 right away. And so I wasn't getting that point. It was offset. So I tore out 2 rows, I think, and I just moved everything over 1. And then it lined up perfectly, and it looked really good. I would not mind doing something with that pattern. I really, really liked that pattern. And then the next one. The next one was a diamond stitch, they called it. And I will tell you what, the stitch is nice, looks good. The pattern instructions were terrible, absolutely terrible. So then I went to the video. The video was terrible. My opinion, if you're doing a video for what's supposed to be a training thing, you are supposed to show what you're doing. You're supposed to show your work, and you cannot go, okay, do this and this and this, and then you're done. She doesn't show where to put the hook. She doesn't even show when she's done, so you can see what she has done. And I'm trying to see what this thing looked like when she was done, so I could at least try to figure out what she did. She never once, she would go, okay, do this and this, and then she turned it over, so you couldn't even see what she had completed. I ended up figuring this thing out by looking at the pictures of the completed project off of this. That is not how you give instructions. I'm sorry. Not for what we paid for this thing. It was absolutely terrible. The instructions were terrible. The videos were terrible. The only way I could ever see anything, and this isn't right. I did not do it right. I know that. I watched the right-handed probably 30 times trying to see 1 second of catching how it was done. And finally I watched the left-handed and I could see a tiny bit more of it. I was so frustrated. I almost just tore the whole thing out and said, forget about it. And then after I was all done and was halfway through the next one, I see a great big mistake in it. I see a great big mistake. I'm so upset with that. I don't even know if I can give this to anybody. Okay. Then the next one is a fillet. It's a simple fillet row. Real easy. No problem. Thank goodness it was easy because I had it after this thing. I'll tell you what. I had it. The next one was front post, back post, front post, back post. Another simple one. I like doing the front post, back post. I love the texture. I love the way it, I just like the way it pops, makes the stitches pop. You have got to have your count right on these or it's going to be a mess. So make sure you're counting on those. The next one was so cool. Absolutely my most very favorite stitch of this whole entire process. And it was funny. This was funny. So, but it doesn't look as good. So when you do the first row, see if I can make this show up good. When you do the first row, see, it looks so neat. It looks really, really neat. And I was on the phone with my friend, and I'm like, wow, I really, really like the way this looks. Can you see it? And then when you go and do the other rows, it smushes it all together. And I told her, I said, this looks so cool. I said, it almost looks like a heart, that stitch. And it was really simple. It was really simple. And I says, I wonder what this is called. And I went and looked, and I thought, oh, it's the heart stitch. But it doesn't look nearly as nice when you finished it off with this other stuff. It smushed it all together. I wished, for one thing, she had you do two chains in between, and I felt like it needed more room. And I'm thinking I'm going to do this as the edging. Wouldn't that look beautiful on the edging? And then you'd have that heart all the way around it without those chain stitches to jam it together. Because I just love that. I'll do that in the pink. Yeah, I love that stitch, because this just smushes it together and you can't even see the hearts, because they're beautiful by themselves. Absolutely beautiful. And it was so funny because I was talking to, in fact, I think it was Rad Girls, and I was saying, when we get to the edging, they want us to go all the way around with that crab stitch, and I don't like the crab stitch. The problem I have with the crab stitch is I can do it. It takes me 5 or 6 tries to get in the rhythm, and then when I get in the rhythm, I've got to do the whole row, or if I set it down and pick it up again, I'm going to lose. I got to figure it out again. Lo and behold, the next dang thing is crab stitch. So 3 rows of crab stitch, and I struggled and struggled and struggled with the whole stinking thing, and they look terrible. They just look terrible. My crab stitch is just awful. I don't know what, and see there, it looks terrible there. Oh, my crab stitch just looks terrible. There, it looks bad there. I don't know why I cannot. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. And it just, my crab stitch just looks terrible. It's just not pretty on my stuff. So, 3 rows of crab stitch. Talk about take forever. I think it took me well over an hour and a half to do each row of crab stitch. So 3 rows of crab stitch later, and then you did a row of double. Oh, and not only was it a row of crab stitch, it was a 3rd loop crab stitch. So you had to go into the 3rd loop. So you're only picking up 1 loop of the crab stitch. 3rd loop, 1st loop. But you're only picking up 1 row, 1 part. Oh, it was not easy. It was miserable. Yeah. So I got lots and lots of practice doing the crab stitch. Did not like that. And then we are on row 30. I am on the last strip of this thing. Okay, I'm all excited. I am on the last strip. And it is something called the spike stitch, which I've never done before. Doing a lot of stitches I've never done before, which was the whole point of this blanket, was doing stitches I've never done before, okay? So I'm like, okay, spike stitch. I'm reading the instructions. They're not making any sense, because the instructions tell you to go into this hole and to go into this hole. Well, that's not what the picture looks like. I know you're doing more than 2 stitches, because you go all the way around this thing. No, it says to go into this hole and go into this hole. Go into this hole, go into this hole. I had to go on to YouTube and search to find a video, to find a stitch that looked like this, because their instructions are completely wrong. Completely wrong. Unless, and it could very well be me, that I'm just completely not understanding. But I read and read and read and read. And it only tells me to put that needle, that hook, into 2 stitches. And I know it's got to go into 4 stitches. I know it does. I absolutely could not understand it. Absolutely could not understand it. So, and then somehow, because I don't know what I'm doing, when you look at the back of this thing, I think it's because I didn't pick my loop up. So on the back, some of them look very, very nice, and some of them look completely ridiculous. So I'm going to have to go back with the needle and kind of like do an embroidery on the back of those so that they look like that. How did I do that? I must not have picked up a loop when I was going around. And it's on about half of them. Half of them look right. Half of them don't look right. So look at this. Half of them are nice. Half of them are ridiculous. This is not going well. It's a good thing I'm almost done with this thing because I have had it. I have had it. So I'm curious. I know some of you guys have done this, and am I just absolutely losing my mind on this thing? I cannot be the only person in the world who can't figure this stuff out. And I know you can call, and I have called in before, and sometimes they're real helpful and sometimes they're not helpful at all. But it's usually 10 o'clock at night when I'm doing this, and that doesn't help either. This is the last row, and I think at the end of this one you change colors. I bet you do. You change colors, then you go in and you do the spike in a different color. But luckily I was able to find a YouTube video which showed exactly what to do. One more spike and I'm done. And then I'm going to do the rounds. And even I can do double crochets around the edge. And that's going to even out. That's going to even out. Yeah, because I know, it goes up and down and up and down. You don't got to tell me, Cheryl. It's a mess. It's a mess. And I'll be done with it. I don't know. I don't know why it turned into such a mess. So that's it. That's that project that I've been working on for 2 years. But it's almost done and it'll be out of my hair. I have finished some big projects the last couple months. And I started this. This is going to be a hat. It's that super, super soft Bernat velvet. I just wanted something little that I could, carry around with me. And just kind of do when in theory, it's mindless. Because this thing is hurting my brain some days. And I really just want it done. But I love that heart stitch. Now I just gotta hope that the count works out so that I'm not quite sure how to do that. I'm gonna talk to Miss Darla, and see how to make sure that count works right when I'm going around. I am tempted to just pull that spike stitch out and just be done with it. I could do that, and nobody on the face of the earth except for you guys would know that. Because the crochet police are not going to come knocking on my door, are they? They are not. They are not going to come knocking on my door if I pull that last stitch out and don't do it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So anyway, that's kind of it for Finish It Friday. Playing catch up with the craft fair stuff. Trying to get this thing done, and thinking about Christmas. This is a Christmas, and I've got one other thing that is I'd like it to be done for Christmas, but it's not necessarily a Christmas present. And that's it. Thank you guys for popping in. I just love to visit with y'all. I hope that you will join us for bingo every Monday night at 4:30 Pacific. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.